Welcome back to Shifted Reality, Season 1, Episode 7. Now, at the end of Episode 6, I said there were some cleanup projects I was going to start with that had to do with the outside of the base. And it's a few things I've been putting off. Most notably, the scaffolding right here. My castle tower, which is really kind of the base level entrance, only base level entrance currently to get up into my base. It's just an open door connected with scaffolding and some bricks that are floating impossibly off the ground. We need to do something about this. We need to make this entrance grand. We need to make it practical. And we need to make it defensive against our enemies. So let's go. Well, here we go, smelting up some iron from our auto smelter. Because I need some armor. Why do I need plain old boring iron armor? Well, that's because as I was working at developing and finishing the back entrance on that tower, I decided, hey, you know what would be fun to have? It'd be fun to have some guards manning the station to protect the castle from intruders. Well, what is the best type of guard if you need something that can shoot at a range, is passive, but will fight back if you harm it first? If you've already been watching my series so far, you should already know the answer. But let's just come down here and we will see our new recruited volunteers to help guard the back entrance of the castle. And if you listen carefully, you can hear our volunteers expressing their loyalty to the cause. Our dear zombie piglin friends. So the nice thing about zombie piglins is they are a passive mob until you attack them, and then they will shoot back, and they do have a range on their weapons. However, the thing is, they're kind of ugly. I really wish the ultimate option was we have this head pack on the server. If only I could just see if I put it on. See, now I look like another player. So I wish I could just throw it onto them so they don't pick it up if you throw it at them, which is unfortunate. They just ignore it. And if I try and use a dispenser to put it on them, any button. So if I put a head in a dispenser and I try and dispense it, it just pops out on the front of the dispenser and not on the mob like I would want it to. So we are left with just covering our zombified piglins with iron armor to make them somewhat blend in. And so until someone figures out and tells me how to put a head on these guys, that just leaves us to cover their ugly faces with iron armor, which is what I am doing right now. But why zombie piglins? Why do I need to have guards at my base at all? Well, Minecraft is mostly a static world. Once you build something, it is motionless. It just exists. There's not very many things to give life and motion to your builds. And one of the things that you can give life and motion to your builds is, simply put, adding the few things in the world that are life and passive, so they aren't trying to, kill you every time you walk by. And so, once I build up their guard checks, anyone who comes up here will be visible by that guard and that guard. Anybody that's approaching from this side will be watched by this guard. if anyone ever happens to attack them, well, then they will all spring into action and start shooting them with their crossbows. All just to give a sense of life and motion to the castle. As people come by, they will see and interact a little bit with my heroic guard volunteers. Now I seem to have a problem that I am working on, and I hopefully will get better at this as time goes on. But anytime I am making or designing something new, I have a tendency where I am either building it in a time lapse or I just cut to when it's finished. And I don't know if that's necessarily the best design technique, honestly, in the fact that you kind of want to see how it does, and I want to talk about design process and things of that nature. But I do find it hard, and I recognize this is a new skill, a new thing I am attempting to learn about how to manage to both be creative and informative and engaging with the audience all at the same time. And I am working at it, and feedback is always appreciated. There we go. We have guard number 1 set up. And so that's what I'm trying to do. Is like, because I recognize, I mean, dead air is one of the harder things. I haven't really tried or experimented with live streams or anything of that nature. And I really don't think that, like, these little guard checks are at all revolutionary. I mean, honestly, aside from the fact that I am incorporating, actually, I'm going to try something a little different here. I'm going to put these sideways. So, yeah, actually, I like that a little better. You know, this little guard check, aside from utilizing piglins as guards, I mean, I don't really see many people caring too much about that life aspect of their builds as much as I think people would. Oh, nope, get back here. Where are you going? I guess I gotta be a little bit quicker with this guy. So as I was saying, whilst I do try to be engaging when I feel that I'm doing something that I don't really see much in the community of Minecraft on YouTube and Reddit and things like that. And I recognize, maybe some things are a little bit different because I choose to play in Bedrock rather than Java. And overall, things just kind of play out a little differently. But I don't really have a clear way on how I can necessarily be more engaged at all times, and I'm trying to work at that, and I'm trying to establish more of a informative communication with the audience. So we just kind of have to wait and see how that all plays out. Okay, now you stay in here this time. There we go. All right, 2 piglin guards. And so all I'm really planning to do here is I'm going to have it open on this side for where he would be looking out. And otherwise, I'm just going to build this up and just put a little angular roof on top. Nothing spectacular, nothing groundbreaking, which is, well, I was initially just going to fast forward it to being done, but as I said, I am working at this communication thing and trying to be informative and educational and entertaining. So, I don't know, kind of give me a little hint as to what you like, what you don't like. I mean, if you want me just to, shut up and do nothing but time lapses, let me know, and I will work at making the channel better. What's this? A time lapse? When I said maybe I'm over relying on time lapses? Well, there are other options as well, such as recording and doing voiceovers, as the case may be.
Now in this case, I wanted to try both options to see what works better for me. And you'll see I put an arch in where the window for the guards is, and that's because I didn't want to have a repeat with the pigling escaping if I removed them from the boat. And of course, I also forgot I had the scaffolding, which like, how do I get up there? Oh, well, just toss a boat up there and board and get out of the boat. One of these days I'm going to remember to build from the back to the front for the camera on the time lapses. Unfortunately today is not that day, but here we are seeing what I'm basically doing is I'm shoring up the foundation of the library. So I didn't want to build up the cliffside but next to it. I kind of want to keep that vanilla build look. As I was going, I was like, we just need a strong foundation here. And by getting the stronger, deeper foundations, what you're really trying to accomplish is you're trying to evoke a sense of physics into the world. But when you look at a build that is openly defining the physics and not for good reason, then it looks weird. And that's just what we're trying to avoid here, just some big solid things so you can believe that it is. And I'm blending it into the existing ground, almost like the dirt has eroded over time and has now surrounded the pillars. Now there are great reasons to terraform, and that's allowing you to reshape the terrain in order to precisely fit the vision that you have. But if you ever find yourself without a strict vision of what you're going with, and you're just kind of flowing with where the game is taking you, avoiding terraforming can bring out new things as well, because I probably never would have built these big, huge arches if I hadn't been trying to give the support structure to the library where it hanged off over the edge of this caldera that is on my mountain. And given that, I'm now looking at these arches and this is inspiring me for additional building. And I don't know if I would have had the inspiration to build these arches if I wasn't trying to just blend in with the existing terrain instead of trying to recreate the terrain to meet the support structure that I needed for the library. So we'll see where we can go with that. But in the meantime, I've been having some future phase plans with my kids, and we have a problem. You see, one of my kids, he really wants a war room. Now, I don't know if you've really thought much about it, but on Bedrock Edition, I don't know how it works for Java, but on Bedrock Edition, maps are not super optimized for data. And if everyone in a Bedrock SMP were to just suddenly come up and start building their maps rooms with these massive maps, you can really explode the file size of the shared world that you are creating. We tend to try to avoid having a lot of excess maps on this particular server. However, there's one particular player that always seems to break the rules for the maps. And he ends up always making these massive map walls, and even though he's not supposed to. And I guess he gets away with it because there's no consequences. Joke is going to be on him. This time, there are going to be consequences. We are going to heist his maps. First things first, you gotta change into your stealth clothes. All black, gloves, hat, hide, do not leave any DNA, do not leave any fingerprints. Let's go on some reconnaissance. Now, for a good heist, you need quality intel and quality planning. We know the maps are inside the Pentagon. And first, we need to check out the area. Looks like he has some security guards patrolling the Potomac River. Those can be easily avoided. Oh, did you hear that? More security. Just on the other side of this wall. He thinks he's so clever. probably thinks that this isn't. Oh, hey, whoa, what are you doing there, buddy? That's not a toy, man. Look at this guy. He has security guards carrying around tactical nukes. Ooh, if he set that off, we'd all be in trouble. Doors left open, so no worries about security alarms. Let's check this out. Alright. Oh no, okay. So we are still under construction. This is perfect for our plans. Now here is some rules for our heist when you're on an SMP server. 1. You cannot destroy any part of his building. 2. You can't just simply come up and take something when he's not online. Oh, no. If we want this map, we gotta take it whilst he's online and not expecting it. 3. You cannot just simply walk into the base and take it. No. You have to approach it with a plan. Now, as I scope out his base, there might be a potential issue to coming in stealthily and making a sneaky escape whilst he is online. But we are going to heist this map wall. He has a secret vault underneath of the maps. This is going to make our escape route very challenging to achieve. Very challenging indeed. Now, he's not done with his vault yet, and one of his temporary entrances to the vault is right here. And I figured out we can now use this to our advantage and his disadvantage. Because if I press forward, instead of dropping all the way down to his vault, I can drop here, which will be my escape tunnel. Now, pro heist tip, if you have an escape tunnel, always have it point towards someone else's base. So if he finds it and follows you through, he might go, oh, maybe it was Wrecker who performed the heist. Would know, it was me all along. Ha ha ha. Now we're just going to cover this up so he doesn't accidentally stumble across our escape route before we have a chance to engage in the heist. But there's one other surprise we're going to leave for him. We're going to rig the tunnel to collapse just in case he follows us. So I'm in the middle of installing this collapsing roof to fill in the escape tunnel behind me when I ran into some water. And if I swim up here, we have this underground tunnel, which is interesting because I didn't know this was in here. But now that I do, and I see where it leads. Now this tunnel comes out here next to green space. I believe that's green space. And if I just continue around the corner past this boat, there's another tunnel here. Why'd you leave the game?
Because I'm in the wrong account.
Now this creates an even better strategy because I can use this as my escape route, and leaving the other one that points towards Wrecker's base as a misdirect, making it even harder for him to follow me back. This is brilliant. So I'm just going to leave a stealth escape boat right here to wait for me. And with that, we are going to be ready to go. So now all we have to do is when we go to make our escape, we run along here, swim up this tunnel, move that piece of black concrete back down there to conceal our method of escape, hop in the boat, and away to safety. Perfect heist. Now we just have to wait for Bias to come back online. And now, under the cover of night, I will sneak down the Potomac and steal Bias Icewing's map. He has his guards out in full force, but they're easily avoidable by sailing down the center of the Potomac. His water patrols are no match for my stealth. Now I shall sneak around back. Do we see him anywhere? Now just to scale to the top of the building. First try. Now that I've snuck up on top of his building, the Pentagon is about to be breached. Any sign of bias? He is on, but I've so far stealthily avoided his attention. And with that, I am off to safety. A perfect heist. No witnesses, no notice. First time successful. And with that, we have a perfect heist. He never knew what hit him. What? Who would steal your map? I bet they have an escape tunnel to their base. Oh yes, the smoke and mirrors work perfectly. I am in the clear. In the end, all I really wanted to do was just goof around with some server mates, and the map has been restored to its original location, and I think original orientation too. I don't know, I'll have to look at the footage to be sure. But, so at the end of the day, in all seriousness, we don't steal from server mates. We don't try to take or disrupt their bases. We never do any permanent harm. Whatever we goof off with, we always restore back to its original state. And that's just good form, to just have fun, be a good member of a community, and make the server generally more fun for everybody involved. Okay, so I didn't get a whole ton done today. At least not as far as the progress on the base build goes. And sometimes you just need to take a break from base building and just do something fun. And there's lots of different ways that you can entertain yourself in Minecraft. Me, in this case, I was trying to recreate the Heist movies. And with Bias kind of encroaching onto our bases here, pushing his to a really large scope, I just wanted to have some fun, do something a little different, and just kind of take a break a little bit. And I'm kind of glad I did. It's been a busy couple weeks in real life, and this worked well for just generally entertaining myself. And it's always good to form a little bit of collaboration with your other server mates when doing an SMP. Looking back at some of the deleted footage, it definitely probably would have been better if I had the some sort of voice mod or other means of doing communication that actually picks up on the recordings. But I'm still working on that. It is unfortunately not immediately available. That's a creeper. Hello, Explodey friend. I do not like you. So we'll pick back up next week and get started on doing more with the interior of our library. Oh, and something else I've decided that I probably won't be doing is hanging curtains, at least not anytime soon. The banners each are individual entity, and the number I would need to cover that and create the illusion of curtains kind of gets to be a bit on the ridiculous side. And I want to be a little bit aware of the potential lag issues I might impose upon my neighbors if I do too many entities at once. And this was a little bit of an experiment, admittedly, so if you liked how it went today and want to see more of this kind of content, be sure to like and drop comments down below. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.